Are you somebody who wants to work out and be with their partner, do their work, start a new business, have a side hobby, meet their friends, be able to go to a club, go travel? Are you someone that wants to do it all, but for some reason, you're not able to find the time to be able to do it all? I was just like you. A few years ago, I wanted to do things, but I was just never able to get things done. I was working long hours. I found that it would take me a certain amount of energy to finish my day, and to be able to do activities after that felt like a little bit of a stretch and not congruent to where I was energetically. And then 4 years ago, as I was about to have my first child, I had to ask more important questions to myself. I had to ask myself, why is it that I can't get everything that I want in life? Why is it that I can't do everything that I want to do? If my desire is so high, why do I have this time constraint? And then I had to ask myself, what is it that I can do to change this reality? What is it that I can do to have time for everything? Especially because I was about to have a child and I wanted to be that father that is actually present with their children. So I went on a quest. I went on the quest of really discovering productivity, really discovering priority, really discovering what is it that people can do or do to be able to have it all, have time for everything. And today, I can say very proudly that I have time for everything. I have time for my kids, I have time for my work, I have time to create these content videos for you. I have time for my wife. We go on dates, we go travel with our kids, we travel without our kids. We are able to create space and time for everything. The first principle that changed the way I operated is to know important things. You see, a lot of times we think everything in our life is very, very important, and everything in our life that is important must be done by us. It must be us that owns every single important thing. And what I recognized in my life is I think things are important just because they're on my calendar or somebody says so. When I sit down with a pen and paper to write down what is really important to me, what drives me, what really fuels me, I found out there were only a few things. The first step to having time for everything that you want to have time for is to understand what are the things that are actually important, to know what those things are. Is it more important to you to serve your clients? Is it more important to you to get attention on social media? Once I identified what is important to me, I could do the second principle. And the second principle is doing the important things. You see, once I identified what really is interesting and important to me, for example, I am more interested in client results than any recognition on social media, which meant that my focus is a lot more towards things that create client results. It doesn't matter if I get attention on social media at all to me, but what matters to me, did my clients get results? So that displaces the amount of time I put towards this versus that. I almost don't put any time towards that because this is what is important to me. Once I knew what were the important things to me and I was starting to do them, I also recognized one more behavior in myself. If I do a particular kind of thing in a set amount of time, I'm able to get a lot more done in a lot less time. This idea is also called batching. You take a group of activities that are similar and you do them in the same batch. For example, today while I'm recording this video for you, I'm also recording few ads, few more YouTube videos. Basically, all of my afternoon is blocked to create content direct to camera. Tomorrow, I've batched about 4 podcast episodes that I will be recording. Batching allows you to be in this particular mind frame and then stay in that mind frame, and so you're able to create much faster. Because I have all day today dedicated to video, what happens is now I'm in a state of video. I'm in the state of this presence where I have to be a little extra because it's going on camera. And that's why I'm able to create a lot of content within a short period of time, because I don't have to battle my mental state. My mental state is already ready for camera. Whatever that is that I have to do, I would batch similar activities together. So my mental state has to be programmed only once, because then I can just get all of that done in a much shorter period of time instead of switching context all the time. If I don't batch activities, let's say I have to do one video and then write an email, I'll take a lot more time to switch context, because the context of recording a video is different than sitting on the computer and writing an email. So what you want to figure out is how you can keep the context so you can batch your work together, because when you batch something together, you get it done in about half the time that it will otherwise take. And then comes the fourth principle that truly changed Also knowing what is it that I really want from day-to-day experiences, what is it that I really want to give time to. And that is, I became really protective of the number one asset we all have, which is our energy. You see, if you're not energized to meet someone, if you're not energized to hang out with your kid, if you're not energized to record videos or do coaching or do consulting or whatever that is that you're doing in life, if your energy is not driven to do it, you will tend to not do it. A lot of us do things that take energy from us. What if we flipped the switch? What if you started doing things that actually give you energy? What if you met people that give you energy? What if you interacted with the world in a way where it gives you energy? What happens then is you have so much energy that you're never really tired. Until you hit the bed, you're still joyous and you're still beaming and you're still excited. And when that happens, you have time for everything. You don't feel tired after a work day. You're excited to meet your friends. You're excited to hang out with your family. You're excited to be with your partner because everything that you did that day gave you energy. And then when you hang out with your kids because they give you energy, you're even more excited. Now you call your friends or spend some quality time with your partner when the kids have gone to sleep. But now you have time for everything because there is no time in the day where you have a lull, where you have a down energy. You're always feeling excited because everything's fueling you. And then comes the final principle. This one's a little bit hard to do for everybody, but it's something that if you can bring into your environment, it's like jackpot. Find a social setting that you are most productive in. Find reality around you, people around you, circumstances around you that gets you in the most productive state. Here's what I mean by that. If you look at my desk, you will find it's optimized for me to feel hyper productive. I can flip a switch and my camera will come on. I can live stream. I have the perfect size writing computer that I have the right laptop, I have the right lights, I have the right coffee or my decaf coffee that I have, or my right kind of meals that are set up that are energizing for me. My social structure is designed in a way that helps me to be the best version of myself, which also means that sometimes I would say no to people or things around me. Not because I don't like them or anything like that, but if it feels like that it would be not the most optimal social structure for me to be most productive about myself. So I want to find and create scenarios around me where I can be most productive. My social structure, my surroundings are designed to support me. And that way I get to be, again, in the best energy for myself. And when I am in the best energy of myself, for myself, I'm able to deliver high quality results at a fraction of a time, giving me more and more space and more time. Which of these principles you think you can implement in your life? Which are these principles that you feel will actually add to your own productivity and will help you have all the time you want for yourself? Share with me in the comment section below. I'm looking forward to reading each of your comments.